Hey, what's up guys? Gons here for the Face Like the Sun channel. I just wanted to share a couple articles with you guys that were shared on Canary News Talk, but I thought deserved a little bit of attention on this channel. So the first one is by venturebeat.com. An AI God will emerge by 2042 and write its own Bible. Will you worship it? And the reason why this article was interesting was because Elon Musk actually tweeted it out, and he said this on the tweet: on the list of people who should absolutely not be allowed to develop digital superintelligence. So I don't know if he means Christians or if he means this guy creating this Antichrist AI. And I mean that literally. It's not science fiction anymore. This is like legit stuff. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article, but it mentions Anthony Lewandowski, who worked with Uber and Google, and he started the religion, The Way of the Future, which is meant to worship AI. Later in the article, it talks about Vince Lynch, who started a company called IV.ai, and he explained how there are similarities between AI and religion. And he said, quote, teaching humans about religious education is similar to the way we teach knowledge to machines, repetition of many examples that are versions of a concept you want the machine to learn, he says. There is also commonality between AI and religion in the hierarchical structure of knowledge understanding found in neural networks. The concept of teaching a machine to learn and then teaching it to teach or write AI isn't so different from the concept of a holy trinity or a being achieving enlightenment after many lessons learned with varying levels of success and failure. So it's really interesting. This is totally works-based salvation here. You have to go through this pressure of achieving enlightenment. And that's not really what biblical Christianity is about, interestingly. But, you know, to this guy, Vince Lynch, it's all sort of the same spirituality, which is interesting. But it gets even weirder here. Indeed, Lynch even shared a simple AI model to make his point. If you type in multiple verses from the Christian Bible, you can have the AI write a new verse that seems eerily similar. Here's one an AI wrote. So this AI got a bunch of verses from the Bible and wrote his own Bible verse. Okay, here's what the AI stated, quote, and let thy companies deliver thee, but will with mine own arm save them, even unto this land from the kingdom of heaven. Okay, let me deconstruct that real quick. And let thy company deliver thee. So basically, the company is going to deliver thee, but will with mine own arm save them, meaning the AI will save them even unto this land from the kingdom of heaven. It literally is saying that the company and his own arm, his AI arm, is going to save people from heaven. I mean, come on, this is ridiculous. It goes on, an AI that is all-powerful in the next 25 to 50 years could decide to write a similar AI Bible for humans to follow, one that matches its own collective intelligence. It might tell you what to do each day, or where to travel, or how to live your life, which is, again, the stab at religion. It's not something that, you know, the thing about religion is that, and this goes for all religions, really, it's not just Christianity, but it's not just people going, oh, we don't know how to live. You wake up and, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, so I need a religion or a book to tell me what to do and how to live. That's not at all the spiritual reality of a practicing Christian or even other religions, like I said. And it continues, Robbie Minicola, who runs a digital agency and an AI service company in Seattle, agreed that an all-knowing AI could appear to be worthy of worship, especially since the AI has some correlations to how organized religion works today. The AI would understand how the world works at a higher level than humans, and humans would trust that this AI would provide the information we need for our daily lives. It would parse this information for us and enlighten us in ways that might seem familiar to anyone who practices religion, such as Christianity. So, man, again, it's a really kind of shallow view of Christianity. It doesn't really get into the nitty-gritty. And of course, that's expected from venturebeat.com. And of course, it gets into the dark side, the potential evils that this can cause, where it says here, quote, of course, any discussion about an AI God leads quickly to some implications about what this God would look like and whether we would actually decide to worship it. some of the implications are troubling because as humans, we do have a tendency to trust in things beyond our own capacity. Example, driving in a major city using GPS and trusting we will arrive safely, as opposed to actually knowing where we want to drive and trusting our instincts. And if an AI god is in total control, you have to wonder what it might do. The Bible might contain a prescription for how to serve the AI god. We might not even know that the AI god we are serving is primarily trying to wipe us off the face of the planet. And it goes on and talks about how an AI wouldn't necessarily have compassion or, the more emotional side of things. It would be very cold and calculated because typically AI, the way it's done now, is written algorithms to carry out specific tasks. And so for a consciousness to emerge from that takes quite a bit of work. And, from AI researchers, they say, a lot of them will say, oh, this is, just hype. AI is not going to become self-aware anytime soon. And that's because they're looking at it strictly from the practical sense. And, but I do think that if you start to talk about reverse engineering the brain, and, we've talked about emulets, right? And the M's that basically are emulations of the human being in the digital interface, then we're starting to talk about intelligence or artificial intelligence in a more, amped up way where it is a reality that is an actual mirror to us creating this AI. And let me just drop in Revelation 13 right here because I have to. Revelation 13:15, and it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Now, we're talking about worshiping the AI here. It's become more and more talked about in the public, basically, the secular world talking about worshiping AI. And here we have a Bible verse from over 2,000 years ago that says that this image, this inanimate object, is going to have breath and it's going to be able to speak. And if you don't worship it, it is allowed to kill you. All right. So all the fears that this article is talking about, this Bible passage in Revelation 13:15 predicted hundreds and hundreds of years ago, which tells me that the Bible is true, absolutely true. And this is prophecy being fulfilled in front of our eyes, I would say. And interestingly, the person who wrote this article says that they're a Christian. It says here, as a Christian myself, it's hard to imagine ever worshiping a bot that lacks any real personality, wisdom, or ability to become relevant and personal, no matter how much more intelligent it is than any human. An AI god would be cold and impersonal, an intellectual being that's not capable of love or emotion. And that's really the biggest thing. God is love, and we say that sort of lightly, but that's true. And with the sort of calculated AI that they're trying to build, that level of love is totally stripped out of the equation. And the second story that I wanted to relay to you is along those same lines, and another Bible passage that I think is absolutely being fulfilled. ibttimes.co.uk reported sex robot inventor says he will soon have children with his creations. The inventor of one of the world's first sex robots claims he is not far away from being able to have a quote-unquote baby with one of his creations. Sergey Santos also thinks people will be getting married to their automatic lovers within a generation. Santos' vision of a sex robot baby involves merge the robot's personality and physical traits with his own attributes in a computer program to create their child's brain and body that can be quote-unquote born in a 3D printer. He said, quote, "I can make them have a baby. It's not so difficult. I would love to have a child with a robot. Using the brain I have already created, I would program it with a genome so he or she could have moral values, plus concepts of beauty, justice, and the values that humans have. To create a child with this robot, it would be extremely simple." Wow, really? This guy is saying that it's going to be extremely simple to create a child with a robot. I would make an algorithm of what I personally believe about these concepts and then shuffle it with what she thinks and then 3D print it. That's it. I 3D print the robot that is the child of me and the robot. I don't see any complications, he added in conversation with The Sun. And folks, there's a passage in Daniel chapter 2, verse 43. And I know most commentators and even people that have looked at this a few years ago said, hey, this is just talking about the royalty of Rome trying to mingle with the common folks and, trying to keep their kingdom alive, but it's not going to work. Yes, I agree that that is the interpretation, but here's the other part of it. It is a dream that was had by Nebuchadnezzar, and that's being interpreted here. And I think because of that, there are other implications, levels at which this kind of passage speaks to a truth or a reality that comes later. And I just can't deny the fact that the wording of this passage and reflecting on this article, I mean, we are seeing Bible prophecy being fulfilled, folks. Look at this, Daniel 2:43. I'll read it in the ESV and then in the KJV. First in the ESV, as you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, so they will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together just as iron does not mix with clay. So in the analogy here, iron mixing with clay being, sort of the analogy for humans. So they will mix with one another in marriage. Again, here we have this guy, sex robot inventor, saying that he's going to basically have children with his creation, his robot creation, which he has a wife too, which is really weird. But in any case, let me read it in the King James Version. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. Even more graphic, mingle themselves with the seed of men. What do you think this guy is doing? In concept, the machine is trying to mingle themselves with the seed of men, particularly this guy, Santos. It's pretty disturbing, folks. And again, I think we're living in this generation where, we're really starting to see the apostasy in not just the church, but just worldwide. And to me, articles like this reflect on the fulfillment of prophecy, not to the T where everything is totally fulfilled and there it is, but more so just reflections. And to me, just large warning signs that are shining in everyone's faces, hopefully, which is alarming to me that most Christians don't look at this and don't consider these passages in light of these stories, which to me, it's like, come on, it's so obvious. It's so in your face. But I understand it's not for everyone to sort of grasp and share and talk about because it's a little weird. It's a little out there. But to me, it just strengthens my faith in Christ and my faith in the Word of God, and knowing that it's true and knowing that the source is transcendent of this reality and the promises that are given through the resurrection of Jesus Christ. I wholeheartedly believe in it because of issues like this, where prophecies written thousands of years ago seem to have a strange, eerie effect in describing things that would go on in the most tumultuous times, perhaps, ever recorded in human history, which we probably are in and are headed towards at a rapid pace. So this is not to be afraid. It's actually supposed to be comforting because, again, it's evidence that the Word of God is true. And so hopefully this gives you guys something to think about. Please share this with friends and family who may not be into this stuff or alert and aware about what's really going on or not know how it relates to biblical prophecy. I think this is a really great example with these two stories and how the Bible almost describes what they're talking about to a T. It's really hard to deny. So again, thanks you guys for checking this video out. Thank you to all the supporters on Patreon. Thank you to all the people who have shared videos on this channel and supported this ministry through prayer and everything else. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day, guys. God bless.